श्रीमद् भागवतम की गौर प्रेमानंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 17. Chapter entitled Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth. Text number 8. Sutavacha Chodito vidurenaivam Chodito vidurenaivam Vasudeva katham prati Vasudeva katham prati Prasasyatam pritamana Prasasyatam pritamana Maitreya pratyabhashata Maitreya pratyabhashata Sutavacha Chodito vidurenaivam Chodito vidurenaivam Vasudeva kathapati Vasudeva prati prasasyatam pritamana Maitreya pratyabhashata Shuto vacha chodito vidurena Vasudeva katham prati prasasyatam pritamana Maitreya pratyabhashata
Sutavacha chodito vidurena Vasudeva katham prati prasasyatam pritamana Maitreya pratyabhashata Sutavacha chodito vidurena Vasudeva katham prati prasasyatam pritamana Maitreya pratyabhashata Sutavacha chodito vidurena Vasudeva katham prati prasasyatam pritamana Maitreya pratyabhashata Sutta Goswami said, Chodita, inspired Vidurena, by Vidura, Evam, thus, Vasudeva, of Lord Krishna, Katham, narration, Prati, about, Prasasya, praising, Tam, him, Pratimana, being very pleased, Maitreya, the saint Maitreya, Pratibhashata, replied. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Sutta Goswami continued. When Vidura became inspired to hear the activities of Lord Krishna in his various incarnations, Maitreya, also being inspired and being very pleased with Vidura, began to praise him. Then Maitreya spoke as follows. Translation responsibly. Sutta Goswami continued. When Vidura became inspired to hear of the activities of Lord Krishna, in his various incarnations, Maitreya also began being inspired and being very pleased with Vidura, began to praise him. Then Maitreya spoke as follows. Quote. The talk of Krishna Katha, or the topic about Krishna or the incarnations, is spiritually so inspiring that the reciter and the hearer are never exhausted. That is the nature of spiritual talk. We have actually seen that one can never become satiated by hearing the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. Both of them are devotees, and the more Vidura inquires, the more Maitreya is encouraged to speak. A symptom of a spiritual talk is that no one feels tired. Thus, upon hearing the questions of Vidura, the great sage Maitreya did not feel disgusted, but rather felt encouraged to speak at greater length. Om Jnanatimiratasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Snapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadavayam Dadami Svapadantikam Mukam Karoti Vacharam Pangum Nangayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Mande Sri Gurum Dinatarya Vanchakalapitevu Vesha Kripa Sindhu Vayevacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Sudho Bhata Chodito Vidureva Vasudeva Katham Prati Prasasyastam Pritamana Maitreya Pratyabhasata. Sutta Goswami continued, when Vidura became inspired to hear the activities of Lord Krishna in his various incarnations, Maitreya, also being inspired and being very pleased with Vidura, began to praise him. Then Maitreya spoke as follows. So here, we are familiar that the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the conversation between conversations. There's conversation and in between there's another conversation. So initially, the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. In that audience, there was a Sutta Goswami also sitting and listening to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Then later, Sutta Goswami narrates the same Bhagavatam he has spoken from Sukadeva Goswami to the sages of Naimisaranya. So here in this particular verse now says Sutta Uvacha, the Sutta Goswami is reciting this the conversation that has taken place between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Within that, Sukadeva Goswami is narrating the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. As we understand that the Vidura, after he was insulted by Duryodhana and the party, he left before the battle of Kurukshetra. He left the pilgrimage. In his pilgrimage, when he was actually returning, in his pilgrimage, he meets with Uddhava. And he inquires from Uddhava what took place, how was the Mahabharata, how was the families of Yadu or family of Lord Krishna. By that time, the Mahabharata was over. Even Krishna also had departed by that time. So in that feeling sad, they had a lot of exchange between the separation from Krishna, because they both, Vidura and Uddhava, they are devotees, very close devotee of Krishna. So in that, when they met, Vidura, now before that, Uddhava and Maitreya receives the instruction from Lord Krishna. Just before Lord Krishna departs, he instructs Uddhava. That's why you see in the 11th canto there is a Uddhava Gita, where Lord Krishna's final instruction before he departed was Uddhava. In that audience, there was also Maitreya Muni. In that audience. So Uddhava and Maitreya received the instructions. So when Vidura meets Uddhava, he's asking that, could you please instruct me that, oh Lord Krishna, the instructions that Lord Krishna has imparted to you, instruct me. However, Uddhava said no. As an etiquette, he was, the Vidura was elderly to him in age, senior. So he requests Vidura to go and receive this same knowledge from the senior, who is the Maitreya Muni, and hear the instruction. So then Vidura travels to the place Haridwar. And there where the Maitreya Muni is, that the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya Muni is taking place here. So starting from third canto, this whole, from third and fourth canto, the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya is taking place. This is what is a little bit of background. So here, Sutta Goswami is stating that Maitreya is inspired. This is one of the qualities of a devotee, is that they are never satiated or tired. They are tired of hearing Krishna Katha. When we have that kind of the taste for hearing Krishna Katha, we should understand that we are making little progress in Krishna consciousness. So that is the so in Prabhupada emphasizes the importance of hearing Krishna Katha. The Krishna Katha is heard from a person also who would inspire to speak. See, both hearer and the speaker needs to be inspired. They both need to be devoted. Then that Krishna Katha becomes so sweet and very enthusing. So here we're hearing the activities and the pastimes of Maharaj Prithu. Maharaj Prithu, he comes in the line of Dhruv Maharaj. In the lineage, we heard so many lineages that passed. Then Maharaj Anga's son was Vena, who was not very popular, and then Maharaj Prithu appears from the arms of the sages. Through the mantra power, they were able to. So Maharaj Prithu and Archi appeared. So we're hearing the great activities and the narration of Maharaj Prithu. We heard how Maharaj Prithu has been praised by the great reciters, praising how wonderful he will do, wonderful activities he would perform in the future. And in this here, it says again, so Vidura is hearing about the various incarnations of the Lord. So for my own purification, as well as the little bit of information. So today I thought of just speak about the different incarnations that has mentioned in different various shastras. So the reference is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the reference, and also the reference is the great length. All this has been compiled and put into a book by Sri Rupa Goswami in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, and also Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami goes into great detail. So we will discuss today is the incarnations or the avatars, how they are classified, where they what different the avatars we can see, and avatar has become made so cheap nowadays. And if you go to India, you will find every gully has got an avatar. I am so and so avatar, I am Kalki avatar, I am this avatar and that avatar. So, but our scripture gives a definition. It gives the future incarnation, gives the past incarnation, the present, etc. It's all mentioned. So it's in order to claim, in order to understand these scriptures, this question, when Sanatana Goswami met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Banaras, Mahaprabhu gives the whole elaboration on these different avatars. Before that, the question was raised by Sanatana Goswami to Mahaprabhu that how do I understand this incarnation? What is the way of understanding these incarnations? Mahaprabhu, very, very short segment, he said, refers to Shastra. If the incarnations are mentioned, so your point of reference is Shastra, our Vedic scriptures. So the incarnations are, the word in Sanskrit is avatar. Avatar means that one who descends, one who comes down. Avatarana is another word for a avatar. One who comes. So one who comes from a spiritual world to material world for a specific purpose. That's called avatar. So avatars are classified as 6 classifications of avatars. Purusha avatara, Leela avatara, Manvantara avatara, and Guna avatara, Satyavesa avatara, and Yuga avatars. These are 6 classifications. All avatars are divided into these 6 classifications. So in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Sukadeva Goswami describes about 25 incarnations in the first canto. After giving a description, he sums it up. He says, Ete chamsa kala pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He gives all the description of the different incarnations. Ete cha amsa starts with. So Krishna expands as Amsa. Amsa is direct the expansion. Who's that? Balaram. So Ete cha Amsa. First direct expansion is Balaram. Then he says Kala. Ete cha Amsa, Kala Pumsa. Kala in Sanskrit means that the expansion of expansion, further expansions. So direct expansion is Balaram. From Balaram, then 4 Chaturviva comes. Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Rudya. These are 4 Chaturviva. These are, and from that first Chaturviva, from Sankarsana again, the second set of Chaturviva comes. So these are Vilasa and Vaibhava Vilasa. The Prabhava Vilasa is the first set of Chaturviva, is classified as name. And Vaibhava Vilasa is the second set. From the second set, Sankarsana, then comes Mahavishnu. So in Mahavishnu, then starts the Purusha Avatar. So there's how it comes. So Purusha avatars are Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, as you understand. It is mentioned in various scriptures such as Sattva Tantra. It's quoted in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in by Srila Prabhupada in the verse in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7 and 4. He says, Vishnu tu trini rupani. So there is Vishnu, three roops. Purushakya atho vibhu. These are known as Purusha. Ekam tu mahata srasti. The first one he looks after all the creation, the universe. Srasti means a creation. The universes will come out. Tudya tu anda samstita. The second one will be entering into each universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Tritiyam sarva bhutastam. The third one will expand as Paramatma. He will go to expand as every atom, every living entity as Paramatma. So these are three Purusha avatars. Also in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma mentioned Eko Peshora Chitum Jagadanda Koti Yasaktirati Jagadanda Chaya Yadanta Andan Tarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Vajami. So the Lord from Mahavishnu, all the universes come, and each universe, the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu goes in, and then it goes into each paramanu, means every atom, and also in as a Paramatma in everyone's heart, every living entity. That includes all the humans, not only humans, any other species as well. So these are the Purusha avatars we covered. Now, another classification is Leela avatar. Any incarnation that comes in performs pastimes, specific pastimes. They are generally known as Leela avatars. So that is performing a pastimes with the devotee. That's why it's called Leela, because there's interaction between devotees and the Lord. That avatar is classified as Leela avatar. Such as Kurma, Varaha, Narsingha, Vamana. These are all the Leela avatara they come from. And the other one is Guna avatar. As we know, there are three modes: Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So these gunas also have a personality who is in charge. So there's the Lord Brahma takes the charge of Rajagun, Lord Vishnu takes charge of Sattvagun, and Lord Shiva takes charge of Tamagun. So so Brahma is we'll explain more in the Satyavasa avatar. So these three are the Guna avatars. Even though they are in charge, does not mean they are actually affected or by these gunas. They are the Lord. They are given a charge. They took specific role for the creation. That's why they are Guna avatars. When they say, the Lord Shiva is in charge of Tamagun, doesn't mean Lord Shiva is affected by Tamagun. Lord Shiva is above. He is in charge of that particular guna. So we discussed Purusha avatar, Leela avatar. Third one we discussed was Guna avatar. The fourth one is Satyavesha avatar. In Satyavesha avatar, it is primarily it is jivas who are given a specific sakti to do a specific task. That's why the Satya Avesha avatar, Lord gives them a power to do a specific task. So in Satya Avesha avatar, like for example, the Prithu Maharaj as we're discussing is also in Satyavesha avatar. he gets the Sakti to, it's called Palana Sakti, that who is able to maintain the citizen to the greatest, highest quality. It's called Palana Sakti Avatar. And we have a 4 Kumaras who are Jnana Sakti Avatar. Narad Muni, who is the Bhakti Sakti Avatar. And Parshuram also comes in the Sakti Avatar. Brahma is another Sakti Avatar. There are numerous, I'm just giving you a few examples. There are numerous Sakti Avatar that they do a very specific task for the Lord. They are given power, jivas. And within Sakti Avatar, there are also another category is called Vibhuti. Vibhuti is that, again, is the opulence. Vibhuti means opulence. Or Lord empowers. So all the demigods, they are also Sakti Avatar, but they are classified as a Vibhuti Sakti Avatar. In Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th chapter, the Lord gives, amongst the demigod I am Indra. Amongst the Agni, amongst the Vasus I am Vishnu. Agni. So and so like that, he gives so many of them. That is also, it's Vibhuti Sakti of the Lord. Amongst the generals, I am Kartikeya. Amongst the sages, I am Bhrigu, so and so. He gives whole heaps of different the names, Lord. So this is Lord's a Vibhuti Sakti. Now there is a 5th one is Manvantara Avatar. The Lord appears in a specific timing. There's a schedule, you could say. Lord appears. So Manvantara refers to within a day, the whole day of Brahma is known as Kalpa. So Brahma has got within one day, and within a day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus rule. So one Manu lives for a 71 cycle of Divya Yuga. Divya Yuga consists of 432,000 is the lifespan of Kali Yuga. 4 yugas: Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, Chatur Yuga. 432,000 years is Kali Yuga, double that is Dwapar Yuga, and then triple that is Treta and Satya Yuga combined. So these are called, combined these 4 yugas is called Divya Yuga. Such 71 cycle is the lifespan of Manu. And each Manvantara period, there is also Lord appears. As a Manvantara, they are classified under the Manvantara avatars. As I mentioned, this is refers in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam by Swami. So, very first Manu in our the Kalpa was the Swayambhu Manu. We're hearing from Swayambhu Manu, the Satrupa and Swayambhu, there is a king Priyavrata. Their children were Priyavrata, Uttanapad, Devoti, Akoti, and Prasuti. These are the different, as this line comes in. So Swayambhu Manu was the first Manu. In that particular Manu, Lord appeared as an avatar. His name is Yagya. And also within the period of this one manvantara, demigods like such Indra and other demigods, they also get replaced. Demigods are changed. So it's like you have in Parliament, we have a period of 5 years, 3 years, whatever the period. After the period changed, then all the ministers change. Similarly, we have at the end of each manvantara, demigod also change. So in that first manvantara Swayambhu Manu, the avatar of that yoga is Yagya. His name is Yagya. He comes as a son of Ruchi and Akuti. And his wife is Dakshina. And in that particular manvantara, Lord Yagya himself becomes a Indra. Because sometimes the role of a demigod, when there is no qualified demigod to take charge of that specific role, Lord himself becomes that particular, he takes a role. So in that manvantara, Lord Yagya became Indra. Just like also Brahma is also a role. Brahma is a jiva. That's so next manvantara is Surochicha. And in that particular manvantara, Lord takes avatar as Vibhu. And Indra is Rochana. This is mentioned in the 8th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 1st chapter. These all the manvantaras are described. The Rochana is the son of Yagya. The Lord who is the direct, so that's the son of Yagya is Rochana. So like that, there are 14 Manus. And each Manu has got a specific incarnation. And the third one is Uttam Manu. In that particular Manu is a Satyasena. Lord comes as Satyasena, that's the avatar. And fourth Manu is Tamasa Manu. And the Lord comes as Hari. The whole pastime of Gajendra takes place in this particular manvantara. And that Hari who protects Gajendra is that incarnation from that manvantara. So like that there are 14 Manus. The fifth one is Raivata. The incarnation for that Manu is Vaikuntha. Indra was Vibhu. And the sixth is Vaivashvata, which is current Manvantara. The age we are living in, our Manu is Vaivashvata Manu. He is the son of Sun God. In Krishna Bhagavad Gita, in the fourth chapter, it mentions Evam Parampara Praptam. In that mentions Vaivashvan. He gave the instruction to Vivashvan. That Vivashvan's son is our current Manu. And in our current Manu, the avatar was Lord Vamanadev. So that was the appearance that the Lord Vamanadev came as the Manvantara avatar in our current situation. And our Indra is known by, anyone know? Purandar. Our current Indra, his name is Purandar. Indra is not a name, Indra is a position. Each Indra has got their own personality there. So our current Indra is Purandar. It is now mentioned that future, it is current our time, but future Manu is also mentioned in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 8th canto, in the first chapter. The next Manvantara is, Manu is Savarni Manu. Next one will come in the future after Vivashvan. And the incarnation in that particular Manu is known as Sarvabhauma. And Maharaj Bali becomes the Indra. But Maharaj Bali, who is the Lord Brahmandev, who has put him in the Sutala planet, he's living there now. He takes charge and becomes the next Indra. So like that, there is a future Manvantaras. There are Daksha Savarni, which the avatar will be for that is Rishabh, and Indra becomes a Avaduta. The 10th Manu is Brahma Savarni. The Lord avatar for that Manvantara is Vishwaksena, and Sambhu is Indra. 11th is Dharma Savarni. Then Avatara for that Manvantara is Dharma Setu, and Indra is Vaidrita. And 12th Manu is Rudra Savarni, and Lord is Swadhama or Sudhama. The Lord will incarnate as a Sudhama, and Indra will be Ritadhama. And the 13th Manu is Deva Savarni, and the Lord who will appear in that Manvantara is Yogeshwara, and Indra is Viva Shakti. And the last Manu is Indra Savarni. In that particular Manvantara, Lord will appear as Brihad Bhanu, and Indra will be Suchi. These are the Manvantara avatars. And the final one, the classification is Yuga Avatar. Lord also comes in a specific Yuga. For example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in Kali Yuga. Kalki Avatar will appear as in Kali Yuga. Yeah? So they are Yuga Avatars. In Yuga Avatar, there is specific color, they also appear. It's mentioned that in Satyuga, the incarnation will be in the color of white. Treta Yuga is red. Dwapara in blackish bluish. In Kali Yuga, it's mentioned yellow in the 7th canto. So these are the Yuga Avatars. So when we hear so cheaply, I am incarnation of this or that or Kalki or whatever, we call it rubbish. Because they are scheduled, some of them are scheduled, some of them will come as it is needed. And each avatar has got a specific role they will perform. And their role is just not ordinary role. When Avatara has a toothache, they have to go to the dentist. That's not Avatara. Avatars are mentioned. They have bodily features, characteristics. In the palm, the reciters of who's glorifying Maharaj Prithu, they can visually see the characteristics in his bodily features. That's why they were able to predict what Maharaj Prithu will do. Even though Maharaj Prithu thus far, we haven't heard that he has done specific anything great extraordinary. But because they can study, they can understand the features on that particular avatar. That's why he's known, they could see he's not an ordinary person. So avatars just not by claiming one becomes avatar. If you just become a little, produce a little ash, that's not avatar. That's according to the Shastra. That even little siddhis, the people who have a little siddhi, they can do that, different magics and this and that. So here, that is give you a synopsis of a avatar, different types of avatars. I thought we'll just share is for my own purification, just to understand what really is understand. So we are preachers. We need to understand. People will come and say, oh, I am this and that and avatar. Here how it is classified. Where do you belong? Which one are you? Purusha avatar or this avatar or Mananda avatar or Leela avatar? So just for our knowledge, I thought I would say this. Thank you. And if anyone has any questions or comments, please ask. Yes?
You mentioned Guna Avatar as well as
Shakti Avatar, yes.
Shakti Avatar. So in both of those categories, Brahma appears.
Yes. It's not okay if one in avatar, the other, it cannot belong to other one. It can be multiple also. It's not that okay you are. See, Brahma's position is it's like Jiva, who's like one of us, also can become a Brahma. There's a specific performance one performs can become Brahma. In 4th canto, Lord Shiva mentions that if Jiva can perform the Varnashram Dharma as per Vedic mentioned in the Vedas, for 100 lifetime, that person becomes eligible to become a Lord Brahma, take the position of Brahma. If one wants to become an Indra, if perform 100 Ashwamedha Yagyas, that person is eligible to become Indra. That's why you will hear in Maharaj Prithu's pastime, Maharaj Prithu will perform 99 Yagyas. When 100th Ashwamedha Yagya he is performing, and Lord Indra becomes, he said, oh, my position might be gone. So he steals the horse, the pastime takes place. So, yes, the Brahma can become, this avatar is not that, okay, one avatar is in one particular classification, it cannot belong to other one. No, it's not like that. They could be multiple. But just in general, that's how we classify these avatars. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
You said that every avatar has particular characteristics. And when you said that the Manmantra avatar for this age that we are in was Brahmachari, so what's the characteristics of that avatar?
We could read in the what is it? The whole pastimes of Lord Brahmachari. 76. Anybody knows? 76.
No, Canto 8.
Canto 8, yeah. The pastimes of the Brahmachari is all the features and the pastime is done, which is there. So, in unique feature of Brahmachari is that he comes as a very small dwarf Brahman as an appearance. And then we ask for the 3 steps of land from Bali Maharaj. When Bali Maharaj grants this, but these 3 steps, by these 3 steps, he covered the entire universe. Yeah. One up and one down. There was the third one on the top of Bali Maharaj's head. So he is able to perform this, a 3 Vikrama or 3 steps, taken as Maharaj was explaining, 3, and the B means wide, big, massive. Krama means the steps he has taken. So he's become 3 Vikrama or Uru Krama, he's known as. And so he's performed that specific. So if somebody claims I'm Brahmana, they have to perform, they have to measure the whole universe by their steps. So there's specific pastime they have done. Of course, we could see immediately that he was not an ordinary child or ordinary Brahman as he came in. He could expand himself as such a wonderful personality. And
like the leader avatars, like the Lord interact with the devotees.
Yeah.
So what the characteristics for the Manmantra avatar?
He comes as his schedule, as his timing. he comes in that particular manvantara. So that's also put in the classification as a manvantara avatar. But he's also, as I was explaining, that they fit into different both categories. Leela avatar. Leela avatara. The avatars of the Leelas can be also in the manvantara avatar, like Vamanadev, Yagya. They are Leela avatars. Yagya is also Leela avatar. Perform whole pastime as Indra. So it's not that okay, it cannot fit into Leela or.
Lawmakers of the universe. Leela avatars are pastime.
Yeah. So Manu's specific role is they are in charge of making the law for the humanity. That's why it's called we are known as Manushya. We are coming from Manu. If we read the history of how Manu and Sadrupa, because we are all born from the male and female, mother and father. The first being who have children as in combination of male and female are Manu, Swayambhu Manu and Sadrupa. From Swayambhu and Sadrupa comes 5 children. From the whole that lineage, all the humanity comes. So that's why we call it Manushya. Manushya, Manusya belong to Manu dynasty, belong to Manu, of Manu. Yes, Guru.
Since Indra is a post, one of the Indra got those 1,000 eyes. It's not that every Indra gets 1,000 eyes. Just one of them got 1,000 eyes.
Yes.
And is it the current Indra that got 1,000 eyes, Purandar, or somebody else?
That I will be researching, I will be finding out, I'm not 100%. Yes, the Indra, one of the Indra has got a curse. He was cursed by Rishi. And so as a curse, he received, his whole body is full of eyes, everywhere eyes. Whether this is Purandar or a different Indra, I'm yet to find out. I'll let you know if I find
And also, Indra lives for whole Divya Yuga or just one of the Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga? Indra's lifespan is it a full Divya Yuga?
Indra's lifespan, I found 2 references. One reference says, okay, the Indra's position as a ruler is the same period as Manu, which is 71 cycles of Divya Yugas. And also in Bhagavatam I was reading that when a partial annihilation takes place at the end of the period of the Manu, then these demigods they go to the higher planets, which is the Brahmaloka. They go there. That's the reference I found in the. So the living period, how long they live, I'm not sure.
71 Divya Yugas
then. This is their ruling period. They rule for that period, and then they got changed. Whether end of that period they die or they live further. It's, as I said, I found 2 references. One, I didn't find that they died. I found the reference saying they moved to a higher planet in Bhagavatam. That's Indra.
And also we said that an incarnation cannot get a toothache.
Yes, incarnation does not suffer a toothache.
However, the Shakti-Avesh avatars, they can have toothache, right?
Shakti-Avasar, yes, they're jivas. Jivas have their power has been given. You're a receiver of that power. And then you can do certain things, you do certain tasks. Even our Swami Prabhupada can be classified as a Shakti-Avesh avatar. The task, what he has done, is no human so far, had done in the past, no history. So we could, of course, there's no claim of it, but can definitely see the characteristic of Sakti-Avasarita, which is the empowered Krishna that they will do their specific task, or to take the Krishna consciousness movement in the spread all over the world. Yes, ma'am.
In Shakti-Avasarita group, we have a subgroup of Bhagavatavesh, which is the Lord himself, like Rishabdev and Kapila-dev. They're mentioned in Chaitanya-Charitamrita, and they can't have toothache.
They can't have
Toothache.
toothache, yes. Yes, they can't have toothache, yes. That's for sure.
Exclusion.
Yeah, when Rishabdev came, when the extract, generally what we eat, when we pass, it doesn't smell good. When Rishabdev came, when he was doing his thing,